The ghost of the Bermuda Triangle. In the mysterious depths of the Bermuda Triangle, a team of archaeologists embarked on an expedition to uncover its secrets. They had heard tales of vanished ships and planes, and they were determined to find answers. The Bermuda Triangle, an area in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, is infamous for the unexplained disappearances of numerous vessels and aircraft. Stretching between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, this region has puzzled and fascinated people for centuries. The team, led by Dr. Emily Hayes, was composed of experts from various fields, including marine biology, history, and underwater archaeology. They had spent months preparing for this journey, gathering the latest technology and equipment. Their ship, the Explorer, was a state-of-the-art research vessel equipped with advanced sonar, submersibles, and a robust communication system. The decision to explore the Bermuda Triangle came after Dr. Hayes discovered old naval records hinting at a significant historical artifact lost in the area. Setting sail from Miami, the team took 3 days to reach the heart of the Bermuda Triangle. The journey was filled with a mix of excitement and fear. As they approached their destination, the waters grew eerily calm, and a thick fog began to form around them. The first thing they noticed upon entering the triangle was the strange, almost otherworldly silence. It was as if the ocean itself was holding its breath. As they prepared to dive, the sky above turned dark, and the sea below seemed even deeper and scarier. They started to go down slowly and carefully. The water around them was a dark, inky blue, getting blacker as they went deeper. The view was both beautiful and frightening. Strange, glowing creatures flashed in the darkness, showing ghostly lights that quickly disappeared. The deeper they went, the darker it got. Their submersible lights cut through the blackness, showing eerie, strange landscapes of coral and rocks. Shadows seemed to move just out of sight, making them feel like they were being watched. The only sounds were the hum of their equipment and the occasional creak of the submersible under the heavy pressure. Suddenly, their equipment picked up an unusual signal. It was unlike anything they had encountered before. A faint, rhythmic pulse coming from the ocean floor. With curiosity, they decided to follow it. Completely unaware, they were heading straight into the domain of a deadly ghost. The ghost who ruled the sea world below. As they continued their descent, the water grew colder, and a sense of unease settled over the team. They were entering a place untouched by time, a realm where the past lingered and ancient spirits roamed free. The ghost's name was Captain Alden Blackwood. He had once been a feared pirate in the 18th century, known for his ruthless raids across the Caribbean. His ship, the Dark Serpent, was legendary, striking terror into the hearts of sailors. But one stormy night, in the midst of a violent tempest, the Dark Serpent was swallowed by the sea within the Bermuda Triangle. Alden and his crew were never seen again, their souls trapped beneath the waves. That night, the storm was fierce. Waves as tall as mountains crashed against the Dark Serpent, and the wind howled like a wild beast. The crew tried to keep the ship steady, but the storm was too strong. Water poured over the deck, and the ship began to break apart. Amid the chaos, Captain Blackwood's crew turned on him, believing he had brought the curse upon them. They tied him to the mast, hoping it would save them. The ship split in two, and Blackwood, still tied to the mast, was dragged down into the depths of the Bermuda Triangle. As he sank, he felt a cold embrace and saw ghostly figures surrounding him. His anger and betrayal turned him into a ghost, forever bound to the sea. His crew, who had betrayed him, were also cursed, their souls trapped in the underwater world. Blackwood's hatred for humans stemmed from his life of betrayal and violence. Once a naval officer, he had turned to piracy after being wrongfully accused of treason and sentenced to death. His bitterness grew as he wreaked havoc on the seas, until his own men betrayed him during the fateful storm. They believed they could escape his wrath by offering him to the ocean, but they too met their doom. Now, Captain Blackwood ruled the sea with a ghostly grip. He commanded sea monsters and giant sharks to destroy any ship or plane that dared to enter the Bermuda Triangle. His hatred for humans grew with each passing year, fueled by the betrayal of his crew and the pain of his cursed existence. He vowed to protect the Bermuda Triangle, making sure no one could uncover its secrets or disturb his watery grave. Emily, along with all the divers, was going even deeper toward the bottom of the ocean. But suddenly a cyclone-like situation started inside the water. Their instruments started shaking violently. And shadows of monstrous creatures circled them, eyes glowing in the ocean depths. The team realized they were not alone. Panic set in as a giant shark, guided by Blackwood, started roaming around them. The archaeologists struggled to maintain control, their fear visible. As the cyclone was coming towards them, the water grew colder and darker. Strange, ghostly whispers filled their ears, making it hard to think. As the cyclone was coming towards them, the water grew colder and darker. Strange, ghostly whispers filled their ears, making it hard to think. Emily saw giant tentacles of a monster squid wrapping around a nearby rock, ready to strike. The squid's eyes glowed with a menacing red hue as it lunged towards them, its suckers reaching out hungrily. The divers frantically tried to evade its grasp. But one of them was caught, pulled towards the squid's gaping maw. Everyone watched in horror as the creature devoured the diver whole, leaving nothing behind but a trail of bubbles and a sense of dread. Meanwhile, the jellyfish floated closer, their electric tendrils crackling with energy. With each pulse of light, they illuminated the darkness, revealing more lurking horrors beneath the waves. The team could feel the static charge in the water, sending shivers down their spines. They knew they were not alone. That these creatures were not merely part of the ocean's natural order, but something darker and more sinister. Just as the divers thought things couldn't get any worse, a larger shadow loomed in the distance. A massive shark, its jaws wide and teeth gleaming in the dim light, circled ominously. It was a predator of nightmares, a creature born of primal fear and ancient legends. Without warning, it surged forward, grabbing hold of one of the archaeologists with its powerful jaws. The screams echoed through the water as blood filled the ocean, painting the scene in shades of red. The remaining divers watched in horror as their colleague was torn apart before their eyes, the water around them turning into a swirling vortex of chaos and death. As the survivors struggled to stay afloat amidst the horror, Dr. Emily Hayes noticed an ancient talisman glowing faintly around some plants. She picked it up, feeling a strange connection to it. The talisman had once belonged to Captain Blackwood, a relic of his past life. Sensing its presence, Blackwood's ghost hesitated, drawn to the reminder of his mortal existence. Suddenly, they were hit by another violent impact. The giant shark circled back, its massive jaws visible clearly. Emily held the talisman tightly, hoping it would somehow protect them. The other divers saw ghostly shapes moving closer, their forms barely visible in the dark water. It felt like the spirits of the dead crew were reaching out, trying to drag them down into the depths. The fear was overwhelming. But Emily knew they had to stay calm and find a way out before it was too late. In that moment of hesitation, Dr. Hayes glimpsed into Blackwood's memories. She saw his life as a respected officer, his fall from grace, and the betrayal that led him to piracy. She understood his pain and anger. As she held the talisman, images flashed before her eyes. She saw Blackwood as a young man, full of hope and dreams of adventure. He had once been a kind and honorable officer, dedicated to serving his country. But when false accusations tarnished his reputation, his world crumbled around him. The betrayal cut deep, turning him bitter and vengeful. She saw moments with his fellow sailors, laughter shared over hearty meals, and songs sung under the starlit sky. Yet, these memories were overshadowed by the sting of betrayal, the pain of loss, and the relentless pursuit of vengeance that consumed him. It was a tragic tale of a man driven to darkness by the cruelty of fate and the conspiracy of those he trusted most. As Emily held the talisman again even tighter, More memories flooded her mind, revealing fragments of Captain Blackwood's past. She saw moments of tenderness and love between Blackwood and his wife, Eleanor. They had been childhood sweethearts, their love blossoming amidst the rolling waves and salty sea air. Blackwood adored Eleanor with all his heart, his world revolving around her smile and laughter. They had dreamed of a future together, of sailing the seas and exploring distant shores hand in hand. But their happiness was shattered when Blackwood was falsely accused of treason. Eleanor stood by him, her unwavering faith a beacon of hope in his darkest hour. She believed in his innocence, promising to wait for his return. But as time passed, Eleanor's hope started to fade. People who used to like her began to laugh at her and treat her badly. Without Blackwood's presence in her life, she was shattered and decided to end her life. But when Blackwood went away from the jail and went back to his wife after 5 years, he could not accept the fact that she is no more. So he ultimately became a pirate, hating the mankind. As Emily witnessed these memories, she felt a rush of sadness for the love that was lost. She saw Eleanor's tears, her lonely presence by the sea, waiting for a husband who may never return. She saw the pain coming into Blackwood's face as he went to the jail, leaving behind the woman he loved to face the cruel judgment of society alone. It was a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions, a tale of love and loss that echoed through the ages. And as Emily gazed into the depths of Blackwood's soul, she knew that his quest for redemption was intertwined with the memory of the woman he cherished above all else. Determined to communicate, she spoke into the foggy water, addressing the ghost. "Captain Blackwood," she called out, her voice echoing in the depths. "I see your memories, your pain. You were not always a pirate. There was goodness in you, a sense of honor." Emily's words echoed in the water, the weight of centuries of sorrow and regret pressing in around them. She hoped her empathy would reach Blackwood, bridging the gap between their worlds and offering him solace in his eternal torment. The ghost's form flickered, his rage subsiding momentarily. He drifted closer, his eyes filled with centuries of torment. Dr. Hayes held up the talisman, offering it to him. "Your story deserves to be known," she said softly. Blackwood's ghostly hand reached for the talisman. As his fingers brushed it, a flood of memories rushed back to him. He remembered his life with Eleanor, the joy they shared, and the dreams they had together. His heart, once consumed by rage and hatred, softened as he relived those precious moments. The talisman acted as a key, unlocking the emotions that had long been buried beneath the weight of his curse. With each memory that surfaced, Blackwood's grip on his anger loosened. The bitterness and resentment that had fueled his desire for vengeance began to fade away. He saw humanity in a new light, not as enemies to be feared and punished, but as fellow souls struggling to find their way in an unforgiving world. As he looked at the archaeologists, he no longer saw intruders to be driven away, but curious seekers of knowledge, much like he once was. In that moment, Blackwood realized that his quest for redemption was not about seeking revenge, but about finding peace within himself. "I have protected these waters for too long," Blackwood's voice echoed in their minds. "But perhaps it is time for my story to be told, for the truth to surface." The archaeologists nodded, pledging to share the tale of Captain Alden Blackwood, the ghost who ruled the Bermuda Triangle. They returned to the surface, bearing not only artifacts, but a newfound understanding of these waters. As they emerged, the sun broke through the clouds, casting a golden glow over the ocean. Blackwood's ghost watched from the depths, a sense of peace replacing his centuries of rage. The Bermuda Triangle would always be a place of mystery, but now, its guardian had found a measure of redemption. The archaeologists kept their promise. They published their findings, revealing the tragic tale of Captain Blackwood and his transformation into a spectral protector. The world learned of his life, his betrayal, and his ultimate decision to safeguard the ocean, not out of hatred, but as a guardian of its mysteries. Once the archaeologists told everyone about Blackwood, the truth came out. People realized he was innocent and had been wrongly accused. They built statues and monuments to honor him, showing respect for his bravery. He was no longer seen as a bad pirate, but as someone who had suffered unfairly. For years to come, people remembered him as a victim of bad luck, someone who deserved justice. Finally, Captain Alden Blackwood got the fairness he had been waiting for, and his memory lived on as a hero of the sea. In the end, the Bermuda Triangle remained a place of wonder and fear, but also one of history and redemption. And Captain Alden Blackwood, the ghost who once ruled its depths with an iron fist, found peace in knowing his story would live on, understood and respected by those who dared to explore its waters.